Hello everyone, this side Diksha Ahuja. Welcome back to my channel Economic Zone by Diksha Ahuja. So in today's video, I'll gonna cover up Chapter 6 Rural Development of Indian Economy Class 12th. And if you really like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel. So let's know the content of the chapter. So the chapter includes the following content: meaning of rural development, then we'll know about the process of rural development or the issues, then we will know about the rural credit sources, there are institutional and non-institutional sources, then we'll know about critical appraisal, then the topic that comes is agriculture, market system, then we'll know that there is diversification of agriculture activities. There is non-farm sector also in rural area. We need to develop that also. And sustainable development for rural area. And lastly, we'll know how much development we have done so far for rural area. So let's know what topics are being covered in this video. In this video, I have covered up for the chapter rural development till critical appraisal of rural banking. So in this video we'll cover up meaning and process of rural development. Then we'll know about rural credit and its importance. We'll know the sources of rural credit including institutional and non-institutional sources. And then we'll criticize the approach of rural banking, whether it has improved so far or not. So let's start with the meaning of rural development. As you know that 22% of the people are below poverty line and mainly were living in the rural area. So there's a need to develop rural areas. So the definition of rural development says that it is a socio-economic process. That means we need a continuous process for rural area to be economically developed and socially developed, in a sense that it should increase the income and the social background of the rural area in all aspects. So in this chapter we're going to study that how rural area is being developed and how the issues of rural development are to be covered. So now let's know the issues or the process of rural development. So the process in rural development are, so human resource development should take place. That means in rural areas there's a lack of literacy level, education, skill development. So there's a need to increase all these facilities, including betterment of education, literacy and skill development. Then land reforms need to be taken care of. That means the tiller of the land should be acquired, the owner of the land. The zamindari system, wherever it is prevalent till now, also we need to remove that. So there's a need for land reforms. Next, development of local resources. Local resources such as roads, or you can say the transportation system, needs to be improved. Next, and the very important is development of infrastructure needs to be done, because in rural areas all types of infrastructure such as electricity, irrigation, marketing are still needed to be there, right? Construction of roads, feeders are needed, right? So next is alleviation of poverty and generating employment generation programs. As we know, 30% of the total population poverty line ke niche hai, and we need to take a serious step against this poverty and we need to alleviate the poverty. So this is one of the important steps in the rural development. So these are the process of rural development. So now let's know the next topic, that is rural credit, and let's know why rural area people need credit. What is the use of credit? What is credit? Taking money on loan by paying an interest rate, a certain amount of interest rate. So we need to know that why rural area people such as farmers and small laborers, artisans take loan from the sources. So the reason behind the rural credit can be explained as follows. Credit is needed. Let's say a farmer wants to buy seeds, fertilizers, and many other implements, tractor or any other implement which is used in the process of production is needed to be purchased by credit, because farmers are not rich enough and they do not have that much investment. So the farmers can also need money to get additional land to buy and all. So basically I can conclude that the farmer has a long period between the crop sowing and crop harvesting. So in that period the farmers need so many types of expenditure on the production of food grains or any other product which the farmer is producing. So rural area people do need credit for these reasons. So now let's know what are the sources of rural credit. So you all know, you have done in your 9th-10th classes, that there are two sources, institutional and non-institutional sources. So there are so many, but I have come up with three only. So institutional sources includes cooperative societies, regional rural banks, commercial banks, right? Similarly, for non-institutional we have money lenders, the traders, friends and relatives, and landlords. So let's know all one by one. So first of all, non-institutional sources, informal sources of credit, in which includes money lenders and landlords, traders, and friends and relatives. So let's know, money lenders exploit peasants by charging high interest rate. They take high interest rate by paying them loan amount without any collateral. This is the quality of money lenders, that they do not take collateral but they exploit peasants by charging a very high rate of interest. So traders, what traders do after giving credit? After giving credit, they buy the product at a very low price. That is also a kind of exploitation of the peasant or the farmer. Friends and relatives cannot be said to be exploitative because they do not charge any interest rate and also helps in the times of crisis. So now let's know the institutional sources. Institutional sources are so many, that includes NABARD, self-help groups, regional rural banks, commercial banks, cooperative societies, right? Commercial banks provide loans for short and long or medium term purposes. Regional rural banks basically provide credit to all the small farmers, including landless laborers, or you can say the people with the like small and marginal farmers also, right? Then cooperative societies also give credit to the farmers at a very low rate of interest. And we'll know about self-help group also. So let's start one by one. So first of all, commercial banks. Commercial banks give loans to the farmers for short term also, medium term also, and if they want to buy some land, and for tractor, long term loan also. So but it is very difficult to get loans from the bank for the poor farmer because they do not have collateral, as the bank demand collateral. The poor farmers cannot give the collateral as they do not have any. Next is cooperative societies. Cooperative societies help poor farmers to give loan at a very reasonable rate of interest, but they give a loan only for short time period for just purchasing fertilizers, HYV seeds. They do not provide a huge amount of loan. Next we can have is regional rural banks. They are basically focused through the central and state government to meet the credit needs of rural people. Actually, you know what is the main objective of this? Like this main bank, regional rural bank, is being provided to rural people for basically small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, so that they can get credit at a very low rate of interest and can get their requirements fulfilled without so many formalities. So next, and very important that you should know, is National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development, also known as NABARD. So the following things you should know about NABARD. It is very important from the question point of view. So NABARD was set up in 1982. You should know this thing. And what NABARD do, actually it coordinates with all the financial institutions such as regional rural bank, cooperative societies, commercial banks. It regulates all these three institutions. The NABARD is a coordinator for all these three institutions, right? So they provide funds to institutions if they are lack of funds, and beside providing finance to credit institutions, you should know NABARD helps non-farm sector also. Farm sector को help करने के साथ it also helps the non-farm sector to give integrated promotion to rural development, ताकि एक integrated development हो सके of rural area. And the next very important kind of institutional source is self-help group. You already know this because you have started in 9th-10th classes, but still I am telling you that self-help group is a committee formed by 15 to 20 women. Basically, it is basically empowerment of movement in which many women combined come together and pool their money togetherly and give to the needy member of the society at a very reasonable interest rate, and that person can repay the money in very small installments. And you know this fact, by 2012 more than 43 lakh self-help groups were formed, right? And but you should know one thing about this, that borrowing जो होती है इसके अंदर वो mainly are done for consumption purposes, because such as a sister's marriage, daughter's marriage, and very negligible amount is used for productive purposes such as for farming, etc. So you should know this point, that in the self-help group, loans are being used for consumption purposes mostly. So last, let's know the critical appraisal of this banking. So the last topic which we need to do today is critical appraisal of rural banking. As you know that the banking was nationalized in 1969, still the rural area is not getting whatever it needs to get. So one thing I can tell is there is insufficiency of funds. The volume of rural credit which is actually required is insufficient as compared to the demand. That means it is demanded more as compared to its supply. Second, inadequate coverage of institution sources. No doubt many lenders and traders are still giving loans to the farmers at a very high rate of interest, but the coverage of institution sources is not very in good amount, as in 4 to 5 kilometers there is only one bank found in rural area. So the farmer is failed to reach there, right? So as these institutional sources have not reached the entire rural area, still there are remote areas which is lacking rural banking, basically commercial banks, regional rural banks. And last, rural banking is not working properly as the overdues are growing over nowadays, because farmers do not return the loan. Why so? Just think about farmers. Why farmers are reluctant to repay the loan? Because farmers basically become unproductive. Their production is not that much. उनका result इतना अच्छा नहीं होता that they are having capacity to repay the loan, right? So because of this fact, farmer repay नहीं कर पाते हैं, right? So the credit agencies are reluctant to give loans to farmers, right? This rural banking is like running away from the farmers because farmers do not repay the money back. So I need to tell you one thing, what government can do for improvement of this rural banking, and so that overdues unke na bade. They can maintain a relationship with the farmers as money lenders does, right? They should not have a relation of lender and borrower, but also a normal relationship of a kind of friend or something like that. Okay, and then one other thing you should know, that the farmers should have this tendency to save money, because usually farmers do not save, right? So if the farmers will have thrift to save, then they will definitely repay the money back, right? So then the rural banking can become much better. So but still I can say with this 2020, the condition has improved, but still we have a long way to go. So we'll continue in the next video. Till then, thank you. Bye bye for today.